All right, welcome to the podcast, everyone. I'm P. That's C. We're the Dweebs. And C, tell me your best movie theater experience you've ever had.
Oh, that's easy. So me and him saw No Way Home together. I think it was like one of the first MCU movies down here that we saw opening night, and crazy experience. Everyone's dressed up, of course. Our theater was great. I mean, it was everything you wanted it to be. You kind of knew what to expect going in, but even then, you still didn't expect it to actually happen. And yeah, that was definitely the best movie theater experience. Endgame's a close second, but
Of course, yeah.
definitely, and that's probably why the MCU's not the same since then. But hopefully, we get back to it.
Yeah, nah, Spider-Man No Way Home was that was an incredible experience. The movie theater was crazy. Uh, and even just the vibe beforehand, we were like hanging out and stuff. Dude, that
Absolutely,
was such a good time. And like he
absolutely.
said, we were had great expectations like already, and then somehow it like blew our expectations out of the water. So
Yeah, I mean, you know the villains are going to be in it, so you expect, spoiler alert, Toby and Andrew to be in it. But at the same time, they just do it so well when they show up that it's a great time. Um, for those of you who don't know, that's Preston. I'm Connor. So Preston, what are we going to do today?
well, usually I'd go into what we're gonna do today, but first, since it is our very first podcast we've ever done, I want to talk a little bit about what it's gonna be about. Really, just obviously we're the dweebs, so we like to talk about anything nerdy. You can see the Dragon Ball Z posters in the background. You can see the Dundee we have up here from The Office, the Iron Man doll. So yeah, we love everything MCU, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and the list goes on and on. So yeah, just a fun place where we can talk about all the stuff that we love, and hopefully the people that are watching love that stuff too, and hopefully get into some debates at some point. You guys get to know us, and yeah, just a fun place to hang out and talk about some nerdy stuff. So today we wanted to make sure we did something. We want to do some top fives today, and we want it to be some kind of basic, but something that'll help you guys get to know us a little bit better. So, yeah, the first top five we're gonna do is actually gonna be top five fictional characters of all time. So our top five fictional characters for us, which let me tell you, it wasn't easy. We spent a lot of time trying to think it over, and I'm sure reconfiguring our lists, and I'm sure it'll change over time anyways.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're gonna do top five. We're gonna do two honorable mentions too. So Connor, if you want to start, you can
honorable mentions.
start with one of your honorable mentions. So your number
Okay.
seven, your honorable mention number seven.
Oh, I didn't even rank the honorable mentions. Okay. My honorable mention number 7 is Gandalf. Surprisingly, honestly, when I first thought about this, he was so high up, but so many great characters. But Gandalf carries the Lord of the Rings. Every scene he's in, you know you're gonna love it. I feel like only reason he's not higher is because he's not in too many scenes. Because we always say he's pretty much the ultimate getaway for every single thing going on. He can fix anything, save everyone.
The ultimate bailout.
The ultimate bailout. I couldn't remember. And then Rings of Power, even a character that we didn't know for sure was Gandalf, just because he had similar features.
Did they ever say he was Gandalf in Rings of Power?
They didn't, but he said
But he's a tall.
but he's a tall guy with a beard who's just still the ultimate bailout. So I
Yeah.
mean, obviously it has to be Gandalf. And then in the end, kind of realizes that he's good, and they talk about him and I don't know what the species is called. Him and Sauron, they're the same people,
Mhm.
the same species, and they
Yeah.
mentioned that he's one of them.
Yeah.
So that kind of gave it away. Obviously, you know more about Lord of the Rings than me, but uh, yeah. So Gandalf was definitely number 7 for me. Could have been higher, but just too many people.
It's tough. Trust me. So for my number seven, my honorable mention, that didn't quite make the top five, I actually said the Joker.
Oh, he was. I brought him up in my when I was rambling out characters.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Definitely specifically to Heath Ledger's version, but I mean, even like the animated series, I watched Batman growing up all the time. Uh, what is it, Mark Hamill? That
Yeah,
the
yeah.
voice actor, Luke
Yep.
Skywalker, the voice actor for him, so that's cool too. But yeah, just the character himself is so intriguing. His how he's like the opposite of Batman. He's always trying to like cause chaos, and his relationship with Batman is like incredibly epic. And then again, like I said, all the way to specifically Heath Ledger's version of it is just like insane. How well he did it, and uh, he made that movie like a masterclass, and it's just like to see the Joker from the animated series brought to the screen and the way he did it was like amazing. So yeah, I just thought I'd throw him in my honorable mentions as number
Also,
7.
which I don't know how much you like this movie, but Joaquin Phoenix obviously did a great job.
He did a good job, yeah. Yeah,
But
that one
again,
was
that just
good.
goes along with how good the character is himself. Uh,
What's the line? What do you get when you get a mentally ill someone?
you get what you freaking deserve.
Yeah,
My gosh.
crazy moment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that and hopefully they're gonna make a second one, but DC is just a mess,
yeah,
so it's always hard to follow what they're doing.
true.
All right, am I going into my
Yeah, do your
number
number 6.
6?
Yeah, what you got?
This is gonna surprise you. I feel like I
Really?
got Iron Man as my honorable mention number 6.
Well, would it be weird to tell you my honorable mention number 6 is also Iron Man?
That would be
Yeah.
very weird. He was right there, but I didn't put him in my list, and I thought about this, and it felt like I almost loved Robert Downey Jr. more than I liked Iron Man himself.
The character.
Just,
That
I
makes
mean,
sense.
just felt like the character. Like if I was looking at just characters, there was all these people, just their development and who they are is just great. Whereas Iron Man's just like, I mean, he's great. Every scene he's in, he makes the MCU, and he started the MCU, but I don't know. He couldn't get to the top 5 for me. But yeah, obviously gotta shout him out.
I mean, of course, it's not like he's not great. It's just there's so many that you could put, so it's hard to sneak him in there. But no, I feel you. Like yeah, and like I said, I mean, ironically enough, he is my number 6 as well. Honorable mention. I had him in there at one point, and then I took him out.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I had him at my number 4, and then I reconsidered so much stuff.
Ooh, well, shoot, should I go next then?
Yeah, sure.
My number
'Cause you
5.
stole my number 6, so.
Well, we stole each other's number 6, something like that. I mean, but yeah, my number 5. So starting on my top 5, I have Anakin Skywalker as number 5.
I knew he'd be on your list.
You knew it?
For sure. Well, I thought so, but yeah, go for it.
Yeah, number 5, Anakin Skywalker. Where to even start? Hot take that I'm sure some people probably won't like that we'll get into at some point, but I'm not a massive fan of really any of the Star Wars movies too much, but personally, I prefer watching like 1, 2, and 3 more than I like watching the other ones. I don't know if it's just the older effects of the old ones, but yeah, I like 1, 2, and 3 the most of the Star Wars movies. Not that I like them that much. But yeah, Anakin, just the character in general, even not just from the movies, even just other than the movies. I feel like I relate a lot to him, which is weird to say considering he's like, yeah, just he's always fighting his inner demons, trying to, he's bouncing back and forth between the light side and the dark side. So yeah, just seeing his development and like the corruption that he starts to go through, and his primary, what drives him to go to the dark side is how much he wants to save Padme, but really just be able to protect the ones that he loves and stuff like that is something I definitely relate to. But luckily I never went completely to the dark side, so that's good. But
Not
yeah,
yet.
not yet at least. Yeah, but that's why I had Anakin at number 5 for me.
Man.
Super relatable
Man,
person.
making me rethink my list again already.
Uh-oh.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, my number 5's not gonna have that much depth to why I picked him, but he's just so great, and literally everything he's in is just you're gonna love that scene. I got Legolas as my number 5.
Ooh, I like that.
Legolas is great. Oh my gosh. You just think about when you're younger and you're playing with a bow, like Legolas is like what you think of. He's what made that cool. There's other archers out there who are cool. Green Arrow. Probably some
Hawkeye.
people like Hawkeye, Robin Hood, random
Robin
characters, but Legolas is like the goat.
Yeah.
He does it better than any of them. Sliding down elephants, just doing the ultimate crazy stuff, just almost the ultimate bailout, same as Gandalf, but just
True.
does it way more swaggier.
Yeah. He is the definition of swag when it comes to that.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
then you think of scenes when, like, I forget what it is, when he's like reaching, he's like your hand would fall before you got to him.
Mhm.
Just so many iconic lines. When he shows up in The Hobbit randomly out of
Mhm.
nowhere, you're just so pumped that he's there.
True.
Even for the minimal amount, he still like steals the whole show.
Yep.
So yeah, I got Legolas as my number 5.
And his like relationship with Gimli too.
Oh, of course.
Of course, yeah, but like a lot of the elves like under no circumstance where they like have a relationship with dwarves, and he's like not about it. He like respects them, and obviously the relationship is like so epic. So yeah, no, that's awesome. He's not in mine, but that's a good one.
Yeah, I like thought about him and Gandalf, and I'm like, honestly, like I like Legolas more than I like Gandalf. I feel like, and
Yeah,
that's tough to say, but that's just how I felt.
sure. Hey, I mean, it's your list. You want me to start my number 4 now, or you go?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Mostly because I just know this one's really gonna shock you because it's coming out of nowhere.
Okay.
I got Rock Lee as my number 4.
Rock Lee.
Rock Lee,
Ooh.
my goodness, and honestly, it's I didn't even want to put him just because I haven't finished all of Naruto, but like at least in because I've seen the original Naruto, but I haven't seen Shippuden, which I know I need to get to it, and I've honestly heard that when I get to Shippuden, um, what's his name? His brother. That's gonna be the one I'm gonna like the most.
Rock Lee.
No, no. Naruto's like rival. His
Mm.
brother. The oh my god. I don't know.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about just because of the show. I haven't seen Naruto enough
Yeah,
to
but
know.
everyone says like, oh, that's gonna be your favorite for
Mm.
sure. But at least in OG Naruto, Rock Lee's my favorite. Just his grit. I mean, just the way that he doesn't have any of the like jitsu or ninjutsu like anybody else. He just works harder.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the whole art relationship with him and his sensei and
Is it Genjutsu? Is that the one that he has, or is it,
yes,
or is
yes, yes.
yeah,
Ninjutsu is
like the other stuff, or is
yeah,
it, or we have that backwards?
that may be backwards
I'm not sure. I haven't seen it,
for someone
so
else to
I
say,
I have
but
I have a reason not.
ninjutsu feels like that would be more accurate
Yeah,
on what would actually because obviously it's combat.
yeah.
But then you go through the whole arc of him like getting hurt really bad and
Mm-hmm.
like just like the odds are not there and him and his sensei bond together just because his sensei literally like is willing to die to like keep him there and
Mm-hmm.
or his sensei got him in trouble in the first place when him and the sand guy are going
Gara,
at Gar
Gara, yeah.
him and Gar are going at it and he like makes Rock Lee use the one of the gates
Oh yeah, when he, yeah,
and
of course.
just ends up hurting himself and yeah then he intervenes and yeah Rock Lee's just honestly similar to one of the other people on my or a couple people on my list but
Sure.
so I have a very similar theme of just people who are like underdogs who just work hard and they keep up with the best of the best somehow.
Yeah, it's like the say hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. That type
Yep,
of deal.
yep, exactly.
No, I respect it. I didn't see that coming. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know if this will surprise you, but at my number 4, I have Goku.
Nah, I mean, it surprises me.
I I'm sure you guys can see about the background and stuff, but I'm a massive Dragon Ball Z fan. Have been forever. Him too, of course. We've always. Well, I don't want to say too much, but about the other characters that are in the show. But yeah, Goku specifically. I mean, the reason. I mean, how can you not love him? Like, he's just a guy who, like, no matter what, like, even to his enemies, he won't stop them from getting to full strength because he wants to face them at their best, even when he knows that they're like a threat to everything. Because he can't help it. He wants to fight the best. He wants to prove himself. Um, he's always breaking limits, and yeah, he's just. I mean, and just he's so goofy and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
he's like a fighter to his core, and there's almost nothing better in Dragon Ball Z than when Goofy Goku gets serious,
Of
and you're like,
course.
oh my gosh, like this
Yeah.
guy, like if you could get him to that level, like you're in trouble because
Yeah.
he doesn't get serious often. I could think of 1,000 moments, but let me ask you this: do you know what, if I was to tell you what my favorite Goku moment is? Do you know what I would say?
Part of me, just based on what you just said, is it him getting mad about Chi Chi and
No, that one's
Goten?
sick. No, that's the
Oh,
Zamatsu arc. Nah, but not that one.
mm, is it? Is it? I don't think this is it. I don't think you'd say this, but is it when Vegeta's about to blow up the stands and
No, that's you.
Goku stops that?
No, I love that too because he does get serious. Nah, my favorite moment, which you'll know once I say it, of course. Also simply for the fact of when we watch it together, like as it premiered on Dragon Ball Super in Japanese too, like with subtitles. But when he goes Ultra Instinct for the first time,
Oh,
when he's fighting Jiren,
yes,
when he falls into his own spirit bomb, and then he comes back,
of
and
course.
even you get to see Beerus is like sad because Beerus had learned to respect him so much, and then he thought he was dead, and then he comes back, and everyone like is laughing because they're like, man, we all actually thought he was done. And then he shows back up and gives Jiren, like, goes out with Jiren. So yeah, no, that's definitely my
Yeah,
favorite
of
Goku
course,
moment. I
of
love that
course.
part.
I mean, yeah, I have so many good moments.
Yeah,
I thought Super Saiyan would be on there too,
of course. I mean,
but Ultra Instinct's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go for
Yeah.
number three.
Yeah.
All right, I got Captain America at number three. Of course, of course.
I also have
No,
Captain.
no way,
I
dude.
also have Captain America at number 3.
I didn't expect it to actually be that similar. That's crazy. Well, of course I got Captain America. That's why I think about Rock Lee and I think about. I had Cap at 3. I had Iron Man at 4. And then I just realized like I don't know what it is. I just couldn't put Iron Man on my top 5. Like I love him. I love everything about him. But like
I did the same thing, obviously.
yeah, and obviously we've even had the debate about who we like more when we were at Endgame weekend, like MCU
Yeah.
characters, and Cap ended up winning the whole thing somehow.
Yeah.
Which it's just, I mean, you think about all the moments he's had, and you think like biggest moment comes to mind is him holding Thanos' gauntlet. Like Thanos has the respect for him. The the biggest villain we've seen yet in the MCU is like scared of not even scared, but just respects someone who does not have anything like
But you could say
Tony
the same
or
thing. You could say the same thing about Iron Man. You remember?
yeah,
You
of
know me?
course. I do. Not the only one cursed with knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he does. Absolutely. But Cap's just through and through was always trusted his heart and like, you watch Captain America the first Avengers and he's like a good heart and
Yeah.
and my goodness. It's just it sticks the whole time.
Yeah.
He always does what's right. And part of it is also like, in Civil War, he's not necessarily doing what's right. It in some people's eyes.
Yeah.
Obviously, very much up for debate.
Sure.
But he's so strong with what he believes and he doesn't back down and he does all that for Bucky, just his friend. I don't know, just something about him, just something about how good his heart is, and he sees the good in people and he trusts and then he learns to distrust the government and his whole arc. And then the ending of his arc is honestly probably my favorite. I'd take that arc over Iron Man's arc, and that's close. Obviously, number 1 and number 2.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, him ending up going and getting his dance with Peggy
Oh,
finally.
yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course, especially when you watch
Yeah, when you watch it back, for sure.
it back again, and then you watch Cap, and we saw the ending clip of it. And he's like, I had a dance, and at the ending clip, and you're just like, wow, like it's almost like they set that up right from the beginning. Of course they did, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, seeing what the MCU is now, it's always going to be easier said than done. But they just did it so perfect with him, and yeah. So, well, you have Cap at your number 3, so
Yeah.
I'll let you give
No,
some
I like
some
that. I don't really
details.
need to say too much. You pretty much nailed it all. I'm trying to think of anything maybe that I would say differently, but yeah, just like his grit, like you said, he's always true to his values and stuff, which is definitely not easy. Not because I don't want to say it's relatable because it's such a hard thing to do, but it's why you respect him so much. You want to be like that. He's yeah, just true to himself, and he also is an underdog in a way. I mean, he came from this tiny little guy who was nothing, and that's why the super soldier serum was so good. He was the perfect choice for that. Is because no matter what, even when he gets more power and stuff, he's always going to stay true to himself. So yeah, best Cap moment when he returns in Infinity War.
Oh yeah.
He grabs it.
Well, you haven't even. Yeah, that's great. But I just realized you haven't even seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which a lot of that show just
Pays
one of the.
homage to him.
Well, it just shows that like what can happen if you don't have a good heart,
Yeah.
and that's why it's so
That's
cool.
the Johnny
with
Walker stuff.
John Walker, even like Falcon, like he doesn't take the serum and like
Mhm.
like he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
And, what is it? Zeno? It's not Zeno.
No,
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like, he's like, Cap didn't ever get corrupted. He's like, true, but there's only been one Steve Rogers, and it's just,
that's
I
cool.
mean, you
I
can't,
like that.
you can't top him.
Yeah.
I
like
am
that.
very, very curious what your last 2 are going to be here because
Yeah?
I think at least one of them is in my top 2 for sure.
Oh,
At
definitely.
least one of them, because there's just no way it's not. But go ahead with your number
Number
2.
2.
Yeah.
Well, kind of sad because that means you'll probably get to pop off with my number 1. But for number 2, I have Vegeta.
Ooh.
Didn't
Okay.
expect it?
I really, God, I wanted to put him. I almost put him as an honorable mention. But
Yeah.
So tough. So tough.
I have to put him.
Of course.
I've always loved Vegeta. Honestly, in a way similar to Anakin, that balancing the good and the dark is something that just to me has always been so relatable. Yeah, like I even thought about getting. I mean, you know that like the Majin M that he has on his forehead when he lets himself become evil. I thought about getting that part of my sleeve because I like that aspect of it. But yeah, like that arc when he's bad in the beginning and then he's good for the longest time, and out of nowhere he lets himself become evil again because he feels like he's lost his edge and he
Yeah.
doesn't even know how to truly be good is epic. And then you got this guy Goku who again hard work beats talent, but Goku is extremely talented. No matter what Goku does, he's like incredibly talented. But once again, Vegeta will never let him get too far
Yeah.
away. He anytime he sees him get further, he pushes himself to that next limit to chase after him. Uh, and then on top of all that, even in that arc when lets himself become evil, that arc ends with him sacrificing his life to save like Gohan and or no
Hmm.
Goten and Trunks, and Piccolo takes them away and stuff, and his whole like final speech before he like implodes himself.
Yeah,
So I've always loved Vegeta, you know that for sure.
for
So
sure.
I had to put him in there.
Yeah,
Had to.
he's I was gonna say he's just probably the best version of an anti-hero you can have. Like, I think of anti-heroes, I think of like Loki and people who are like villains, but they kind of go good.
Yeah.
Vegeta's just the best definition of that. Like, they keep
Yeah.
him still like even in the beginning, like he's good, but they still don't even trust him at all. Like,
Yeah.
they still don't trust anything he's doing. What's your What's your favorite Vegeta moment?
Hmm.
I'll tell you mine
Go for it.
before you think of yours.
Yeah.
Just without thinking too much about it.
Yeah.
It's definitely him beating that android and ripping off her arm
When he
and
comes in and saves Goku.
yes, when
That's
he goes
again
Super
that whole
Saiyan.
perfect anti-hero thing.
Yes,
It's the
bro.
first time you see him Super
And
Saiyan
they're
too.
all like they're all afraid, and it's
Hmm.
because he's stronger than Goku
In that moment.
in that moment. Yeah, and then he like rips off the android's arms and just talks about fear. I'm not gonna quote it too much there, but
Does an android like you ever experience fear?
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's just no. I
And
mean
just the
that's
fact that in that moment, again, he even says something like, no one's going to kill Kakarot except for me. And
yeah,
that's
yeah,
his whole motivation to come in and wipe this android out,
yeah,
is because he was going to take that glory away from him. And
and
which is funny because then 2 arcs down the road, he comes back to it and tries, wants to fight
yeah,
Goku.
and you think about how he's just like I don't know. There's this something I'm thinking about when he's talking to Jiro about like it's almost like a respect thing. He's like you were shocked when Kakarot went Super Saiyan
Yeah.
like he's like you don't follow our battles on Namek and
Yeah.
then I don't know dude
Yeah.
Vegeta just he's just so smart he's like Goku's kind of like dumb but combat smart. Vegeta's like smart all over
Yeah.
he has that intelligence to him.
He's always serious.
Yeah, definitely. And
Unlike Goku, but at the same time, though, I don't want to go too much, but, Vegeta in the Cell arc, he lets Cell get to full power. The only difference between him and Goku is Goku usually lets him get full power and then beats them. He lets Cell get to perfect form and then gets absolutely stomped out by him. But I definitely think my best favorite moment is the whole when he lets himself become evil and then he goes back to good and sacrifices himself for Trunks and like gives his final speech. That or uh man, there's so many good ones. He does the same thing kind of sort of against Kid Buu, or he's letting Goku charge the Spirit Bomb, and so he keeps keeps like beating him down, and every time Buu's about to walk away, he stands back up and like calls him back over to buy more time for Goku to hit him with the final Spirit Bomb.
it,
That's pretty epic too.
yeah, and there's so many good moments. But you think about I don't want to keep ranting about Dragon Ball Super and Z, but I
Yeah,
can't help it.
yeah.
It's when the Zamatsu arc when he's about to go after Goku Black,
Oh yeah.
and he's like,
He's
you want to know why you'll never be that clown?" And he
yeah,
just goes at him and
yeah,
just and again, it's respect for Goku at the same time insulting him, and it's
yeah.
just perfect, and
Yep.
you believe it, but
True.
it's so good. And then yeah, again, we'll come back to that at a different time.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, I'm definitely gonna ruin your number one here.
Yep.
It's okay, you already ruined mine.
Yeah.
My number two is Jon Snow because he's absolutely just oh my god, he's just one of the best characters to ever come to the TV screen.
Yep.
When I think about like some of the best moments and like honestly, you could say like all of cinema, Game of Thrones has some of it, and Jon Snow is always going to be part of it. I don't want to take too much about if Jon Snow is your number one,
Go for it. Say
but
whatever
you
you want.
got the Battle of the Bastards.
Of course.
You got him drawing his sword, just
Yeah.
willing to die right then. Just
Mhm.
and just good job by the actor, but you just believe it. You just know he doesn't even care at that point.
Mhm.
He wrote riding out on the horse just to save
His brother.
Rickon, and
Yeah.
it's just oh my goodness. And then also one of the best moments is him getting resurrected, and you get to see like him finally get to like get the underdog story, and you just yeah. Even then, when I watched Game of Thrones, I didn't expect that,
I
which
remember.
should have gave a spoiler alert.
I
But
know they say spoiler alert. This is all spoiler alert. We don't have
yeah.
any alerts on, so if you haven't watched it, sorry.
But Jon Snow is just, and he God, it's tough because his arc gets so ruined, just so ruined later on. But hopefully the show does something for it.
We'll come back to the terrible season 8, I'm sure, but
Oh my gosh,
well,
it
maybe I'll
just
talk about it right now. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have rambling into it.
but
Why?
yeah, but he deserves to be king. He's the Targaryen that probably the again scene you're gonna mention, but King of the North when he finally and I didn't. It's funny because I watched it and I didn't even realize that they were hinting that he is he is our Targaryen, like
Yeah.
that he was that baby.
Yep.
And then it pans off to him, and man, it's like what Rob Stark had, but way more like set up and believable because you're like this guy is definitely like the leader.
Yeah.
Um, which honestly, I'm just gonna go ahead and hand it off to you for your number one.
Yeah, I'll just go into it because yeah, my number one was definitely Jon Snow. Funny story. If you don't see the man bun, I started growing my hair out because I was watching Vikings, but also because of Game of Thrones and Jon Snow. Yeah, he is also the ultimate underdog. Same type of thing. Basically was the run of the Starks. Like he didn't necessarily fit in. He took himself to the wall because he felt like he wanted to be he didn't want to be a nuisance to anybody, and he wanted some sort of meaning, and he just let himself go to the watch, which that was like a punishment for like the worst kind of like prisoners and people who committed crimes in Game of Thrones, that they would send him to the wall to do what he did, and he just chose to do it because he didn't really know what else to do. Um, and he just thrived in those scenarios. He was always like the most courageous. He was like a born leader. And then yeah, like you said, like of course towards season 6 when Rickon dies and he like charges out there to save him. Of course, like that's his brother, so I understand. So he charges out there and then he gets knocked off his horse and draws his sword in his last moments. And of course, things play out a little bit differently than you expect when you're first watching it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Jon Snow. He's an epic character. He was like he never wanted the leadership either. He never wanted like power or anything like that. But he was always it always was cast upon him because he was right for it. And I think that again goes back to like someone who like Captain America, who they don't want the power, they're not asking for it, but that's why they need it. That's why it's given to them because they're right for it. Because that's not the type of thing that matters to them. They're gonna still make the right choices regardless of who they are, what position they have, or how much power they have. So, yeah, I mean, Jon Snow for sure, number one without a doubt. And what's crazy is, like I said, I'm not gonna talk too much about it, but with what they did to him in season 8 and the ending of Game of Thrones and stuff like that, you know, he's still my number one, even
Yeah,
through that. And he could
yeah,
have been like number one for all of eternity. But
yeah,
now that's the only reason there's room for that to change at
yeah.
some point.
Well, just because you're my queen, Danny.
You're my queen, Danny. I don't want to, Danny.
Oh
You're
God.
my queen. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
But
right. What's your number one then?
my number one is Goku.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
Yeah.
I've based my whole life around this guy. I mean, I remember when I first watched Dragon Ball Z, I was, I was probably in like middle or elementary school, and I just stayed up all night because like we had recorded like all the episodes. Which
Mm.
honestly, thinking about that, it's crazy that no one watches cable anymore. But I had all the episodes recorded, and just binged like the whole Namek Frieza saga, all the way up to him going Super Saiyan. Just finished a whole bag of Doritos. And then I remember like our mom got home, and I was I was like, "There's no way I'm going to school tomorrow." But just one of the most epic characters, and I think about recently when I had watched Dragon Ball for the first time, and just his story of how he actually came back down. He's a Saiyan, like he is what Vegeta is. He has that in his blood, and he still chooses to be like
Human.
human and good, and that's why like he goes through all Dragon Ball with his grandpa, and he learns how to like love humanity, and learns like just how to do martial arts. He doesn't learn how to just conquer planets. He learns like martial arts, and that's why he always has that edge. And then you have to jump to Dragon Ball Z with Raditz showing up, and he hates Raditz because like I mean, and that's what he was about to be. That's his brother, and it's just crazy. And it starts, and he still tries to save Raditz. It's crazy, and
Hmm.
it always leads to his downfall.
Even
It just
Frieza, you remember he gives
tries.
Frieza chance after chance, and
Vegeta gives everyone a chance. He always does it, no matter how many times he's learned not to. He just keeps doing it because he just has faith. And then, like you said, we can get into how much of a beast he is when he just lets people get to their full power and then takes them on anyway. And he has that combat smartness. One of the reasons I say Goku, even though he seems like he's ignorant about a lot of things, uh, you have Hit coming to kill him one time, and Goku, knowing that Hit's gonna try to come kill him, he hired Hit to come kill him because he wanted Hit as his full ability. Because in the matches, Hit couldn't kill him, but he did this just in case. He shot up a blast to come back down and resuscitate himself,
wow,
and that's just, I mean, that's
forgot about that.
crazy.
Yeah,
And yeah, and then you go into the whole Jiren saga and just, or the Beerus saga when he like fights Beerus, and I mean everyone puts their hope into him, even Vegeta, like, and that
but
just shows the type of
Vegeta doesn't
Goku is.
want to in that,
Of course not, but I mean, dude,
but he does.
but he does because well, no one else is gonna give it to Vegeta.
True.
So yeah, and he does it for them, and he literally fights until he like falls into the
Hmm.
earth. And one clip I saw, which I just thought was so cool, was Vegeta's the one who catches him,
Mm.
which is just. But yeah, Goku's got to be my number one. He's the reason I like going to the gym. He's the reason I like try to keep a good heart about things, and just his attitude about pretty much everything is how I live like my whole life. So he's got to be my number one.
Love it. Wow,
Yeah,
great stuff.
yeah,
How's it going?
yeah. That was a good list.
All
I'm,
right.
I'm actually surprised. Who else did? Just out of curiosity.
Who else did I have on there?
I didn't. I just want to give another shout out. I wanted to put Rick from Rick and Morty so bad on this list. Just such a funny character. He literally carries that whole show. If you
Connor has me watching Rick and Morty right now, and I can concur. It is every single episode is just it's so fun to watch. It's honestly, it's great, eh? So
yeah.
another, I mean, honorable mention that's similar to Rick that I had. I put Luigi on there,
Oh
of
yeah.
course, just because like I mean, if our family's watching this, I mean, I've always played Luigi in all the games. Same thing. There's Mario and Luigi. I'm taller than you, so I'm like Luigi. Um,
Yeah, I would never pick Mario to be my favorite character though. If anything, I'd pick like DK.
you kind of look like DK. Yeah, the Batman, of course.
Oh, I want it. Yeah, of course, but just I don't. I don't like. I like him just because everything he's in is great, but like
Yeah.
he's. I don't care. I don't relate to his character or anything like that.
You don't relate to being a millionaire playboy philanthropist
An orphan.
and an orphan?
um. Oh, I was gonna say earlier when we were making our list, I was thinking about Kingdom of Hearts. And
Sora?
yeah, I couldn't think of his name,
Yeah.
but I thought you may put him.
Nah,
Um,
I can't
obviously.
relate to being stuck into like Disney movies and stuff. Although I like the games. You
Yeah,
ready for our next one?
I am ready for the next one. Oh my goodness.
All right.
Okay,
This one was also hard, guys. But
this was so hard, but
we're gonna go into just our top 5 movies of all time. And this is not easy.
and I'm gonna tell you right now, my list is gonna change. Don't roast me. I tried not to overthink this too much. I could have sat there for probably 5 days and not come up to a conclusion. So,
me as well.
all right, I'll start this one as well.
Okay.
All right, I guess my number 7. I got the Two Towers. I got Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers on there.
That's your honorable mention.
That's my honorable mention. It's so tough, but it's honestly I would need to rewatch it. I'm sure my whole list would change again.
Mm-hmm.
But just when I think about the Lord of the Rings, they all could be on this list. Honestly, every single one of them could be good. Like timeless. They're literally 3 hours long, and you are entertained the whole time. Obviously, if that's your thing. But I had to put the Two Towers. Obviously, it has the most iconic scene that I can always remember from all of them. Like if I have to think about what the plot is, but no matter what, I always remember the battle at the end of the Two Towers. You got Legolas and Gimli and him tossing and them tossing Gimli, and you got the
You've got to touch me.
you
I
got,
cannot make the jump. You've got to touch me.
and then honestly, the best part about that whole thing is just when you see the orcs and just how scary you can feel the fear of just these humans on this castle. Just like, oh my gosh, like no, it's like what honestly, just relating it back to Game of Thrones, it's kind of what the Battle of the Bastards gets to at some point, but like done way better. Because look at these things; they're not humans. They're literally like the scariest looking things ever. That guy releases the bow, and
The old man.
Oh my gosh! And then just right into it, and they're just sending ladders over, and then yeah, and then you get such an epic conclusion, especially when you don't know it's coming, and you
Yeah.
get Gandalf, the freaking white,
Hmm.
pulling up and saving everyone, and uh, who's with him? There's someone with him,
It's
right?
the Riders of Rohan. They come together. He
Okay.
goes and gets the son. The son had left because the dad was like
Yes.
under the corruption,
Yeah.
and then he goes to get them, and yeah, he comes. Look
And
for me on the fifth day. Look to the east when the sun rises.
again, the ultimate bailout.
True.
Yep, that's my number 7.
Cool. My number 7. So an honorable mention. I put. I'm never gonna find this one. I put Harry Potter: The Order of the Phoenix.
Oh, so good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're currently. That's currently what. I don't want to say our project. But that's currently where we're rewatching the Harry Potter game because I don't know if you guys agree, but you have to watch Harry Potter a couple of times to really to get every little piece, and they do so much foreshadowing, but you don't know they're foreshadowing unless you've seen it before almost. So you have to watch it through a couple times. So we're watching through for his second time. Um,
Yeah, I didn't really understand anything the first time. I had to have him pretty much spoon feed me every single thing going on. So it
yeah,
was easy to watch this and be really entertained because I didn't remember anything. But this time through,
it's
yeah,
been great. Yeah,
it's
we're
been
currently
good.
we're on the Deathly Hollows, so we just finished Half Blood Prince. But yeah, I think originally Goblet of Fire was my favorite Harry Potter, but now that we've been watching it back through, I definitely think Order of the Phoenix is definitely the best one. It just takes it's the first, Goblet of Fire gets serious, but the Order of the Phoenix takes it to a different level. That's when they're actually like to like a sort of mature age at that point. The stakes seem like it's more serious. And they have a great villain too. The
Yeah.
lady in the pink, whatever her name is,
Oh
I
my
always forget,
gosh,
but
I'm gonna.
she's the most ruthless.
You just hate her.
Yeah, you just hate. They do such a good job making you hate her, and a great villain makes a great movie. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
so yeah, I had Order of the Phoenix as my number 7.
Yeah, it could go. That was such a good movie. I actually, yeah, I don't have anything Harry Potter on this list.
I mean, it's just
Okay.
an honorable mention.
Yeah. All right. I got Civil War for my number 6. My goodness, just such a good movie. Like one of the even now you could go debate both sides, but just when it first comes out, I remember that was coming out, and then you had Batman vs Superman coming out, where everyone was like, "Oh my God, what's gonna be better?" And
I actually forgot that
yeah, but
that
it's
came out
it's
at the same time.
it's not even close. I'm pretty sure
Well, it's
me,
definitely not even close.
it's not even close. And my God, you just got such good like character building in that. It's probably my favorite version of Black Panther. You get Black Panther and that just absolutely hunting for revenge for against Bucky, and
Yeah,
just all the fight scenes. You get one of the best ones. I mean, you think of the airport scene, but you forget like the highway scene when they're running down. You got Bucky running, Black Panther running after him, and then Cap running after Black Panther, and it's
yeah.
just insane. And
Why isn't any scene with Captain America and Black Panther running fast is epic?
oh my gosh,
You know?
so epic, and somehow Bucky's outrunning them. I mean, not really though. And then you got the introduction to Spider-Man, which is just crazy to think about. You got that. You got Ant-Man. It was like one of the first times, honestly, definitely the first time we saw them all get like a would it be like a big crossover since like the
Hmm.
first Avengers.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got other crossovers in between them,
Hmm.
but this was like
Well, you
you
had Age of Ultron before that too.
yeah, but you got like this is like new. This is
Yeah,
like new people. It's like
and them against each other is definitely the first.
yes, exactly. And then just and especially now I like obviously when you first watch you don't know this, but just the impact that has
It's
on
crazy.
everything.
Yeah,
It's the reason their downfall happens.
yeah,
It
because they're split when Endgame and
the
when
le-
Infinity War and
the
Endgame come.
next time they talk is Endgame, which
Yeah,
is crazy.
they as in Cap and Iron Man.
Cap and Iron Man, yeah, and just so much you see Iron Man like finally admit that he's wrong and goes to help Cap, and then you got probably honestly the best fight scene in the whole movie, which is Cap.
Cap and Buck versus Iron Man.
Oh my gosh, just
After Iron Man realizes that Bucky killed his parents. Yeah,
yes, yeah, and
that one was crazy.
and honestly, talk about a good villain. I mean, doesn't he literally has no superpowers? It's not some basic villain. He just turns them all against each other
True.
like that, and it's a good point. He just knew he couldn't beat them, so he knew they had to beat each other, and he actually did it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I was gonna mention. Do you remember how like Iron Man's shooting Cap's shield?
Yeah, it's like that's like a
Do you remember
pivotal
from
thing from.
Ultimate Alliance. Do you
Oh,
remember that?
oh, what the power where they can
Yeah,
do
where
it?
they
Yeah,
could
of
like
course.
shield things.
You
I
can
always
like
think
combine
about that.
powers.
Well, honestly, you see that first in like Avengers, but
Yeah,
I just always think like, wow, they really stole
yeah, but I
that.
actually think the whole I think the Iron Man blasting Cap shield is like from a famous comic too, like a cover of a famous comic as well.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. My number 6 honorable mention. I have Revenge of the Sith. Star Wars
So
number
good.
3, Revenge of the
So
Sith.
good.
Again, I know there's all the
Oh yeah,
classic
you're
heads
gonna.
who
I
like
mean,
4, 5, and 6 the
oh yeah,
most,
you're gonna
and
get
I
some hate.
understand the plot and stuff. Maybe a little bit better in those, or and but just how old they are, it's hard for me to get behind them and watch them and like thoroughly enjoy it. I'll be completely honest with you. But Revenge of the Sith, I love that movie. I've seen it so many times. There's definitely some cringe parts here and there, but seeing Anakin and Obi Wan, like seeing that arc come to fruition, and the final climax of that is insane. Got so many great moments. I mean, Yoda fights the Sith in that one, which is epic. But yeah, I mean, all I really need to talk about is the final,
Of
the
course.
final,
Of
the
course.
final fight between Anakin and Obi Wan. I could literally recite the entire like final dialogue between those two.
You were the chosen one. Oh
You were meant to destroy the Sith, not become them, not join them.
my
Yeah,
gosh.
absolutely epic. Um, yeah, I love that movie. Like I said, I love Anakin too, and so he like completely loses total composure, and Obi Wan this like Obi Wan tells him, he says like only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must, and Obi Wan's like down to fight him too. And again,
Yeah.
Obi Wan didn't make my top my
Oh
top
my god.
seven,
But
but I mean
honorable
he
mention.
easily could have made it. Epic character.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought about that, and then I thought about the show, and it immediately left my mind.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a big fan of the Star Wars shows either. I know Connor's got a Mandalorian shirt on currently.
Well, we're not talking about this show. I
Yeah,
don't think either of us have really seen that enough to actually give an opinion. But we're talking about Obi-Wan. We're
yeah.
talking
Obi
about
Wan the show. I don't know what anyone else thinks, but I thought it was here. I'll give it 2 down. I thought it was bad.
the
Um,
only good part was the ending, but
which still wasn't that great.
well, I mean, it was good, and but like when you have the beginning, and Preston's gonna roast me because I tried to defend it, but you get Leia being able to run away from
Like
like
bounty hunters and
bounty
stuff.
hunters, just absolutely like somehow they're like tripping over everything and like not being able to catch
It
her in
just
it.
seemed too much like a Disney movie.
Yeah. Or
And
you get the one scene when Obi-Wan's saving Leia and he has her in his cloak and I'm like, dude, what am I
it's just
watching?
a bit cheesy for me. But we don't have to go too far into that. But yeah, Revenge of the Sith definitely an honorable mention. Anakin and Obi Wan, the storyline and the way that plays out, and I mean, who doesn't love like just an absolutely epic lightsaber fight? So,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Getting off the nerdy side for a second.
uh,
I got Prisoners coming in at my number 5.
ooh,
So that's a thriller movie. It's probably my favorite. It's obviously definitely my favorite thriller movie 'cause it's the only one on here. It's got Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't really want to give too much detail because I would actually recommend everyone watch this. But it's about this guy who his daughter gets kidnapped, and pretty much the premise is like how far is he willing to go to like save his daughter, and just the acting in it is honestly probably the best acting I've ever seen in any movie. It's like it'll keep you guessing. You're never gonna figure out what's actually going on, and just a good mystery. Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean, I've seen him in a couple things, and every single time I see him in something, he just does a great job. He's such a good actor. I honestly, I'm such a big fan of his hair in that movie. He's got this slick back style. Um, but yeah, just a great thriller. I recommend for everyone.
great movie, 100%. Uh, my number 5, right? My number 5.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Captain America: Civil War.
Okay. Okay.
Um, gosh, you pretty much said everything. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, the implications, it's absolutely epic. Uh, and I definitely would take Cap's side over Iron Man's side, just so everyone knows that about me too. In
Mm.
case that gives you more insight as to who I am, I got Cap. I got to go with Cap. You
Yeah.
can't trust the government. You can trust yourself more, especially when you have Cap. So
Yeah, for sure.
trusting Cap
I
over the
I
government.
I agree, but also, I mean, I've seen some good arguments. I've also
Well,
heard
there's
people.
definitely good
I've
arguments.
I've heard people say that in the comics, it's a lot closer. Like the
Mm.
sides are a lot closer than that. The movies, it's like Cap was obviously Cap. I mean, he obviously ended up being right because the government sucks and they like did nothing. And you see that in um, Infinity War when even Cap comes back and he's like, arrest them, and you're just like, dude, aren't you like past that? Like
Right.
your world's in danger. What are you gonna do?
True.
And you also think I've seen people talk about how like they're the ones who launched the nuke in New York that Iron Man ended up putting in the portal.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you got stuff like in Civil War when the stuff gets blown up. One the reason that happens is Crossbones, and Crossbones was like a Hydra employee. So like the government's they're pretty much the reason for everything. So they can't get mad that the Avengers keep cleaning up their mess.
Yeah. At
Uh
the same time, though, the government does end up cleaning up a lot of their mess too. Like,
yeah,
especially in Age of Ultron, that whole
yeah.
what's
For
that?
Sokovia.
Is
No,
that no? It's Sokovia, right? Because then they do the Sokovia
it
Accords.
must be, yeah. Because
Yeah.
why would they name it
Yeah.
that?
Well, here, let me go to my number four then, since I had the same one.
Okay.
My number four is pretty much the only one that's not like a superhero style thing. I guess my only not off the nerd side, but it's still definitely very nerdy. Is the Matrix for sure,
Oh, okay.
definitely.
Okay.
Um, big martial arts fan. And that was probably definitely one of the things that got me into that. I love Neo as a character and his like development. Uh, as he's just a guy who feels like he's stuck in society and the things that's going on. Then he gets the opportunity to like step out of it, and he takes a chance. And I mean, it's just honestly an incredible movie. And the two scenes, of course, that come to mind when I think of that is one when they literally. I mean, I've always just thought it was so cool how they literally like plug him in and they just upload all the different fighting styles into him, and then he comes out and he's like, I know kung fu, and Morpheus is like, show me. And then they go in there and they literally, it's like a Mortal Kombat game. They just start going at it, and he's like, come on, you're faster than that. He's like, stop trying to hit me and hit me. And then
Oh
like
yeah.
Neo like is going, then he like speeds it up, and everyone's watching. I mean, that is so epic. And
Yeah.
then
Stop trying to hit me and hit me is
stop trying to hit me
iconic.
and hit me. And then he like runs up the wall and does the backflip. It's just, I mean, dude, if you're a nerd and you like fighting stuff, like you love that movie. So that, but I mean, nothing is better than the train scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's like almost got like this old Western vibe. Like he's down there, him and Trinity are trying to escape through the phone. That's like their port to get out to like the real world. And Trinity gets out, and then as she's getting out, I forget what happens, but somehow the phone gets destroyed. I can't remember exactly what destroys it, but yeah, the Agent Smith ends up being down there, and Neo has a chance to like run out of the subway. He can leave and run, but he like just stands there and turns around, and, like looks at Agent Smith, and then the people that are like in the real world, they're watching from the ship, and they're like, what's he doing? And Morpheus is like, he's beginning to believe. And then he
Yes.
like turns and thing blows across, and then he literally like, I mean, it's just so
Yeah.
epic. He goes at it with them, and then he ends up getting knocked back down. And he gets back up, and then again he like wipes the blood off his face, and then he like does the fighting style that Morpheus does. He like hits him with that move, and then he tells him like, come here, and they just go at it. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, and then you
Matrix
also,
is
I
epic
mean, not even to mention just how much like people talk about the Matrix and reference the Matrix, like
in real
the whole
life.
yeah the whole idea of just like escaping the Matrix and we're
Yeah,
in the Matrix and
no, I agree. And then same thing, like you said, I just the thought of you just have like if you just believe in yourself, like you can pretty much do whatever you want. That's basically the theme. Because if it is the Matrix, all you gotta do is believe, and it will happen. I mean, that's pretty cool too. So,
yeah. Okay. Well, honestly, this was so tough. I
like your
could
top three?
yeah, this was tough. But the top there was nothing I could really do to change this around.
Yeah.
So for number 3, I got Django because that could have been my number 1.
Ooh, I forgot about that. I'm not
J-
gonna lie.
yeah, Django's oh my gosh,
Sheesh.
talk about one of my favorite movies for the longest
True.
time. Like if I took away nerdy stuff, it would be number 1 and it would be no contest.
Mm.
It's you got just some of my like favorite actors ever. You got Leonardo DiCaprio, Christoph Waltz, um God, I'm blanking. God, who's the main character?
I'm blanking now that you're blanking. Jamie Foxx,
Jamie Foxx. And just the
Samuel L. Jackson.
yes, the ultimate underdog story. You got Jonah Hill randomly, but anyway,
True.
uh, just obviously if you haven't seen it, go watch it. But he just starts off as like a slave who ends up getting drafted to become a bounty hunter because he knows these owners, and then he goes on this wild adventure to go kill these bounty hunters, and he's like a good shot, and like Christoph Waltz ends up taking him with him just to go do their own thing, and like you love it because obviously you don't want him to go back, and like Christoph Waltz is such a good character in that, and he just feels like responsible for him, so he's like, we're gonna go do this, we're gonna get you some money, and we'll buy your freedom, and like, and then he ends up going after this girl that he's in love with, and just so much happens. Such a long movie. Music is absolutely amazing the whole time.
Definitely.
The action in that movie is just
It's
probably
crazy.
unmatched. Like
It's crazy.
you get a crazy shootout scene in the end that just ends up going insane with God, Jamie Foxx
Yeah.
in the house just going at
Yeah.
these guys, walking out, just oh my goodness,
Yeah.
just the way they set it all up, and then the ending, and just Leonardo DiCaprio again, just great performance, great villain. Like you love it. There's obviously a scene where he smashes a glass, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know this, but like
Yeah.
he actually did that, and he just went along with it, and you can
Yeah.
see all the reactions are genuine because of it.
Yeah.
But just great movie, obviously.
100%. I forgot about that one. Definitely would have been in my top five if I hadn't forgotten. That
Well,
one is incredible.
yeah,
Great movie. And
Yep.
I mean, I think that's probably the movie I've watched the most.
Oh.
Movie, I think.
I'd say. I can say it because it's not on my list, but I'd say Avengers is probably the movie I've seen the most. But
Sure.
Django's very close, number 2.
Wow. What a great movie.
Yeah.
Epic. Truly.
Stand by your list.
And yeah, no, I'm standing by it. And yeah, like you said, the music, I'll never forget when I was watching it in the theaters. We watched it together in the theaters, right? Surely.
No.
Yes, we did.
You showed me it. I don't think I had seen it before the theaters. No way. You saw
I
it.
don't know who I would have seen it with. But anyways, I'll never forget when Black Coffins by Rick Ross came on. I had already heard the song somehow. Like
Yeah.
before that, and that came on in kind of like this transition scene before they went to like the next thing, and I remember I was like so hyped. So yeah, that movie was incredible.
Great movie.
It's my number 3 now, huh?
Yeah. I don't even need this. I know my last two.
There you go. Me too. My number 3 is Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you said a lot about it, but
You go into detail though, because honestly, I like love those movies, but like I would probably put them all on there if I could like remember.
Yeah.
That they're
no, number 2, like you said, you could put them all on there, but number 2 specifically, The Two Towers is epic. And yeah, that final battle scene when they have nowhere to go, they're basically like, there's the mountain and they're there and they're stuck in that castle, and it's like their last stand, and the rain when the orcs are pulling up, and they're all like they're making all the noise and stuff, and they're all holding their airs. Even too, like when they're there and they're like they're basically like, we don't have anybody, and then the elves end up showing up, and you completely forget about it, and the elves all come in, and then Aragorn is commanding all the troops at the same time, and he's speaking like he speaks elf, so he can like talk to them. Yeah, I mean, it's so epic. And when the old man is like shaking and he accidentally lets it go and it hits the orc, and the feeling it gives you, you're like, no,
You're like,
no
oh
way.
God.
Like you put yourself in the shoes, and then boom, it just like all breaks loose. Like it all happens. Yeah, I mean, great movie. Like
talked about a lot of the scenes. I don't remember a lot before it. I know, obviously, that movie like starts with him with because I looked it up. I was looking it up just to remember what the plot was, but it starts with Gandalf like. It shows him fighting.
Yeah.
That. What's it called?
Dude, I'm gonna blank too.
Yeah.
I know exactly what it's called.
We know what we're talking about.
The big fire demon.
Yes, of course.
Why can't I remember what it's called?
It starts with an M. Right?
I know it does. I already knew that. I'll think of it at some point. I hope it's not on your trivia questions.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
Spoiler,
I mean,
trivia.
Not really too much to say other than what he said. Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, definitely the best. I literally have dreams about orcs like chasing me down because of that movie. It's terrifying in a way. But yeah, it's.
Could you guess what my number 2 and number 1 are without me even saying it?
I have the same one, so I'd say probably.
Okay, all right.
Well,
sorry, were you done?
No, I'm done. Yeah, all right. Go ahead. What's your number 2?
I got Endgame as number 2, of course. What? You're wild.
Got Endgame? No, that's not in mine.
What?
What?
What did you think I was gonna say?
Bro, you're lacking, bro.
Endgame?
You got 2 that you're missing. Or you got 1 that you're missing for sure. I don't know which one it is, but go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt.
Okay, well, Endgame, obviously.
Great movie, obviously, and greater because of what
movie theater experience, the lead up to it, obviously, you can say all that, but the movie itself is like a great watch. We rewatched it the other day. You rewatch just talk about the way Infinity War made you feel. You watch the beginning of Hawkeye, and it just set the same exact tone for the whole movie. Hawkeye losing his family, and you're just like, oh my goodness. And then, like, Captain Marvel pulls up, and they know where Thanos is gonna be. Okay, okay.
Speaking of Captain Marvel, there's another 2 thumbs down. Sorry.
I know, gonna get some hate from Brooke from that one.
From probably a lot of people if they ever see it.
Okay, well, obviously Captain Marvel pulls up. I will say one of my least favorite things about Endgame is just what they do with Thor's character, but I'll get into that. But in the beginning, when you see Thor walk up to Captain Marvel when he pulls both his things, and he's like, "I like her," and then they go and they kill Thanos, but it does nothing, and you just don't even know what to expect after that. And it cuts 5 years later, and you're just like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, what is going on? Cap leading the therapy group, and then you got Ant-Man coming to save the day out of nowhere, and then Iron Man just, dude, just the whole time travel experience. You get to go back and look at these things, but you get Iron Man. Like, honestly, one of the most underrated things is Iron Man and Cap going back when they have to get they have to like use the pin particles again
Mm-hmm.
to go get more pin particles.
Look, they split. No, they
No,
both go.
they
To,
go.
yeah.
He's like, do you trust me? He's like, I do. And then they go back together,
Yeah,
and it's just,
cool.
oh my goodness. And then
Yeah.
you get to see Tony Stark talk to his dad, and you get to see Cap, see Peggy, and it's just setting everything up, and
True.
it's just like, oh my gosh. And you think, and then he's talking to Tony. He's like, I don't even know the kid yet. He goes, but there's nothing I wouldn't do for him. And it's just, it hits you right there.
It does pay off a lot of stuff.
Yes.
No doubt.
And then, not even to mention, you get to the end.
Yeah.
You get to Hulk snapping. Like, you've seen it. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
I think it's Ant-Man. He's like, guys, like, we did it. Like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Boom. And it's just like right into literally like what feels like a long ending action sequence of just so many epic things that happen all at once. You know, you get them going after Thanos, the 3v1, and then they lose, and Cap standing by himself goes along. It's just why Cap's the best. And then you go into the portals coming in and everyone coming in, and you get him picking up Mjolnir. Oh my god.
On your left.
Yes, on your left. And just so much great stuff. And then you get the ultimate sacrifice. You get two great ending to like two great characters. And then you get Tony's like "I love you 3000" speech. It just, it hit home, and it was just everything you wanted to be. And they could have. I mean, it's so easy to see how they could have screwed it up. But obviously, I'm also biased because we had such a great weekend leading up to that. But just with for obviously family knows, but we had like a family like games and trivia and like
all like Avengers themed and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
it's just setting ourselves up. I remember I just didn't touch my phone because I didn't want spoilers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got Endgame number 2.
Yeah. I mean, I should probably have had Endgame somewhere on my list.
Yeah, you should have.
To be fair. But yeah. No, I mean, it is epic.
Yeah.
No doubt. Dang. I don't know what your number one's going to be, I'll be honest. But my turn?
Yeah.
My number 2 is The Dark Knight.
Ooh.
I have to put it on there.
I made mistakes.
I think we both made some mistakes. I mean, The Dark Knight. Come on, dude. That movie is insane.
Sheesh.
That movie is so good.
Oh, sheesh.
Especially if you've seen Batman Begins, which I assume everyone who watched it had. I know you.
Batman
you were a
Begins
big fan of Batman
of course.
Begins, and so am I. But, so yeah, I mean, they just set him up as a great character, and then, like I said, I mean, I mentioned it in my honorable mention, the Joker, but Heath Ledger's Joker is easily the best villain. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the best villain of all time. One of them for sure. And just the way he portrays it. And I don't know, something about, because a lot of times you get good villains, but that's because they're so powerful. Thanos being one of them. But Joker, he doesn't have powers and stuff, but he's able to just like wreak havoc and do so many things and be such a terror without having any superpowers at all. He's just like a menace, and he's chaotic, and and his relationship with Batman, and I mean, going back and forth, and like the psychological aspect of it, and how he like puts Batman through like torture of like choosing who to save, and I mean all the scenes. Like, I mean, I could talk about every scene. You want to see this pencil disappear? Blow. The interrogation scene when he like is talking smack to the cop first, and then when Batman comes in to interrogate him and stuff, and like, I mean, dude, it's just so epic, dude. Like,
I can't believe I forgot about The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
What a great movie. And honestly, dude, Batman Begins could be an honorable mention because of how much I love that movie too.
Yeah.
so good. I mean, Dark Knight Rises is good. It honestly just falls off because it doesn't compare to the rest of them. But
Yeah, The Dark Knight, man.
Dark
So
Knight,
so
so
good.
good. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
And then how it ends kind of ends dark too, because like Batman basically takes the fall for everything, so that Harvey Dent doesn't have to look like the bad guy, because
Yes.
he's the hero
Yeah. He's
that they need or whatever, not that they
yes.
want, whatever.
Yes.
So I mean,
And then like I don't know. I'm sure you just mentioned it, but obviously when Joker is like trying to get those two people on like those two boats to like vote on who they want to like
yeah,
destroy,
just psychological
and
like
they
crazy stuff.
don't though,
Yeah,
and like it's just such a good feeling. It's like
true.
you thought you could get everyone like corrupt, but
Yeah,
you're the one who's corrupt, and it's
yeah.
just crazy.
And in that, it's the businessman that's the one who wants to like blow the other ship up, and it's like the convict that like won't let him do it or
Yeah,
something
he
to that
like
degree.
takes it. He's like, I'm gonna do something you should have done a long time ago, and like breaks it.
Yeah,
All right,
epic. Well, I then if you didn't have that, then I assume our number one is the same,
it has to be the same.
right?
All right, my number one's Infinity War. Obviously,
Same as me.
it's got to be Infinity War. If you didn't put,
Yeah,
I know you have Infinity War on your list, of
yeah.
course.
It's my number one.
Obviously, I'll go into some detail about Infinity War, about why it's just so good. Obviously, you get the way it starts off. I talked about Endgame. Infinity War has one of the best starting sequences ever to really set like just a different level of tone for Marvel. And it doesn't end good, so it stays the whole movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you any happy ending. It gives you just dark, like hopelessness almost, like the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
You like it builds up these heroes up to keep winning and keep winning. Like you get Thor, you get Iron Man, and them teaming up, and they just never can like beat Thanos every time. And just
Like you said, the start though, I remember when we watched that together in the movie theater. We did not expect that, and how hard that Loki, like the Thor and Loki scene hit.
especially after loving Ragnarok and loving their
True.
relationship and how much he built, and he was like,
Yeah, true.
"I'm here," and like he catches the rock, and you just love it. They actually like,
Our brothers for once.
I know, dude. For once, you're like,
And
"Oh
then he
my
gets his
gosh,"
neck snapped.
and like, dude, you just feel Thor's pain.
And even
After
though he can't even speak because he
he's
has
like,
the metal around him. Yeah.
"Oh my gosh," and then you get like Hulk just getting whooped, and you just have never seen
Yeah.
anything like that. The way Thanos is like,
Hits him
oh,
with the
pop,
one-two
pop, pop,
piece.
just like, oh my goodness. And then, yeah, and then you just get to see characters together that you never could. You get to see Iron Man and Doctor Strange, and just some of the best,
With the Guardians
best
too.
stuff. And then you get like chills. I'm just thinking about like him making Spider-Man an Avenger, and just the way it transitions. Every single transition,
Every scene is amazing
every scene's
from
amazing.
start to finish.
I remember rewatching it the other day that we did. It
Hmm.
was like they go into the Guardians, and like honestly, I forgot that they're even in the
Yeah.
movie because there's just so much going on. It takes it to their like music playing, and it immediately sets the tone for who they are, and they meet Thor, and everything just goes
And speaking of
so
Thor, that's like Thor's best by
yes,
far. Think about like I mean you could talk about when he shows up in Wakanda after he gets Stormbreaker, but like bro, the best Thor scene because he has some hilarious ones too. Like when he's talking to Star Lord,
yeah.
hilarious. But dude, when he's talking to Rocket, he's like, "What more can I?" He's like,
What,
"Yeah,
what more can I lose? He's like, well, I don't know. I got a lot to lose.
yeah, Rocket." But yeah, when he's talking to Rocket about everything he's lost and stuff, like, yeah, that is just
You feel
yeah,
it,
you feel it.
and like it's just what it's honestly it's what we're not gonna get into it, but like it's what I want Thor to be. I hope they go back to that, but I've heard Thor is not doing anything else.
Yeah, I don't know
I've heard because I don't know if you
because of
know.
Love and Thunder was so bad.
No, because like he has like a condition,
Ooh,
like something like some national. He did like that National Geographic thing,
I
and
think I have seen that.
but like he like in that he announced he had some conditions. I don't know if he's gonna do anything else. Which
Which
in
is the
that case,
worst. Which
just know the MCU is done. If that happens, I don't have any like. What
I
are they
mean,
gonna do?
to be fair, they had already ruined his character anyways, so we're not
Thor: Love and Thunder. I mean, when you
so
have
bad.
Thor doing the splits, when you go from Endgame and Infinity War into that, like I don't understand. That's how you got like, because even in Endgame, like Fat Thor, like, but he has like an arc. Like he talks to his mom, and he's grieving because he like couldn't win. Like he did everything. Like because in Infinity War, it makes sense that he's like that way because he still has all that faith that he can. There's nobody he can't beat.
True.
He's like he's never faced me twice. Like, but he, but he's being serious, and like he
He's
almost
never
does
beat
it.
me. Didn't he just? He's never beat me twice.
He just did. But he just doesn't beat Thanos, and Thanos like laughs in his face pretty much, and gets away with it, and then he kills Thanos and just gets no satisfaction from it. Although Endgame does some weird stuff, like him talking to his mom, but then he lets Valkyrie run Asgard, and he just has such a good arc of him like, and he's like, I don't know, and he goes with the Asgardians, and then but you see him in Thor: Love and Thunder. It's like, what happened? It's like, did he just become like a joke? But we're not getting into that.
Yeah.
Infinity War, great movie.
Maybe when we get to top 5 biggest letdowns of all time,
Oh,
we'll talk about
gosh.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So
I'd put Rise of Skywalker on there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
here we go. Yeah. Nah, Infinity War, easy number 1 for me.
Yeah.
Was it easy for you to put that as number 1?
It was the first thing I did. It was trust me, I almost put Django number 1. I really, really thought about it, but I just can't because personally I know which one I'd rather watch like forever if I had to really think about it.
Yeah.
And that's why Endgame and Infinity War. Trust me, that's why I said they could be swapped. Like Django is just such a good just a good movie. Like good story, good plot, good this. But like Infinity War and Endgame hit me in a different spot than anything else can. So.
You got your phone on you so we can do a timer?
Oh yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that's our top 5 movies, and we're gonna finish out with one more segment here.
Oh god.
We haven't chose what we want to call this one. Let's call it Flashpoint for now.
Flashpoint.
But basically, we're gonna give each other 90 seconds each. You know, one of us will go first. Connor, what do you want to do first so I can explain it? You want to read first, or you want to?
I want to read first.
All right. So Connor's gonna read me his
for how
questions.
weird
He's
these
got
are.
10 questions. It could be anything, personal, nerdy, dweeby stuff, whatever. He's gonna read off. He's gonna ask me 10 questions. I got 90 seconds to answer as many as I can. Loser is gonna get a punishment to be decided.
To be decided.
Maybe by our family. Who knows?
Yeah.
Considering that's probably our first viewers.
Yep.
So
you guys comment.
You guys may get to decide what you want to do.
But
so shoot. So Connor's gonna start the timer, and then he's gonna start reading off his questions.
So I'm gonna go through them like from this order. He can pass, and then once we get to the end, I'll go back to the ones he didn't get.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Are you ready?
I'm born ready.
All right. Get this first question of mine, so I can not waste any of your time.
Don't waste my time, dude. Don't cost me.
All right. What movie does Spider-Man appear the first in the MCU?
Captain America: Civil War.
Yep. What was the NFL team that was my favorite for a couple months when I was younger?
Baltimore Ravens.
Nice. What TV show has a character named Crowley?
Supernatural.
Oh my gosh. Who's the host of Deal or No Deal?
Howie Mandel.
Oh my gosh. What is my favorite color?
Green.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm losing money.
What is the main character of The Rings of Power?
Galadriel.
Yep.
Love her.
I thought that was I honestly was hoping. What is my favorite Pixar movie?
Toy Story 3.
No. What? It's
Shoot.
Up.
Oh,
Name all 6 of the OG Avengers in the MCU.
Oh my lord. Bruce Banner, the Hulk, Hawkeye, Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow. Who did I forget? That's 5.
Yeah, there's 6. You are missing one.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there is.
No, there's not.
You're missing one.
Pass.
Oh my gosh, you're a bot. What is the only Pokemon game I've beaten?
Ethereal. Acreus. Pokemon Acreus. Arceus.
Yes.
But you pronounce it
What animal? What animal was my first Webkins?
An owl.
No. All right, you only have the other one. Who's the last Avenger?
Samuel Jackson.
No, you literally missed such an obvious one.
Cap.
Thor.
Oh my lord.
We just
bro.
talked about him.
I tweet. Turn that off.
Oh my god.
Dude, gosh. I tweet, bro. I tweet.
All right. 8 out of 10 is not bad.
Dude, that's a good one. I need the timer too. Or you need the timer.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Wow.
Okay. Well, oh goodness. I'm very inconfident now. I didn't expect him. I didn't expect him to get that many.
Harder. I think mine might be harder based on what I've made.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I didn't expect you to get the Baltimore Ravens one.
I'm literally goated, kid.
It's crazy.
Oh, this is good.
I can't believe you got Howie Mandel that quick. That's actually crazy. For some reason, I thought that was gonna stump you for no.
Dude, I'm born for this. We're literally on a game show as we speak.
Yeah, that's true. All right, you ready?
Are you ready?
I don't know why I'm asking you if you're ready. I'm absolutely ready.
All right. What's my middle name?
James.
What's Brooke's dog's name?
Pebbles.
Who is Gohan's daughter?
Pan.
Nice. Which Overwatch character do I have the golden weapon for?
Soldier.
Oh, shoot. Who did the Bengals lose to in the Super Bowl 2 years ago?
Rams.
Oh my gosh, nice. What are the fusion earrings called in Dragon Ball Z?
Katora earrings. Oh my god. Patora.
Yeah, nice. Daenerys marries who in season 1 of Game of Thrones?
Khal Drogo.
Oh my lord. How many stripes are on the American flag?
Pass.
What planet is Vegeta from?
Oh my god. Planet. Oh my god. Pass.
Name the broom Sirius Black gets for Harry.
Nimbus 3000. Nimbus 9000. Nimbus
It's not,
300.
it's not Nimbus.
Oh my god.
Nim-
Skip.
You've already got to all of them. How many stripes on the American flag?
I can take as many guesses. 15. 12. Oh my god.
We're gonna have to change these rules going forward.
10.
No.
Oh my god.
Also, what planet is Vegeta from, and the name of
Where is
the
Vegeta
broom
from? I
Sirius
should
Black.
know this.
All you need to do is get one of those, and you time me.
I'm not getting it. Oh my gosh. What is he from?
You know what Vegeta's from? He's from planet Vegeta.
Stop, dude. I almost wanted
I
to say
got
something
him.
dumb like that. Oh no.
For the
Oh
viewers
no.
watching at home, Vegeta is from planet Vegeta.
Oh my gosh. What is the broom called?
Firebolt.
Oh, I wasn't even close. Nimbus. I'm thinking of a freaking cloud.
I know you're thinking of, yeah. And how many colonies were there when America
I
first
was
started?
trying to remember. Why could I not? 13.
Yeah.
I kept saying the wrong numbers, bro. I couldn't remember what it was. I knew there was like a reason for it. Oh my gosh.
So I win.
Yes, you win.
Nice. Those are good questions, though.
Yeah, those were good
I gave you a
questions.
chance at it.
I sped
No
through
way,
those.
dude. You crushed all of them in the beginning.
Just sped through them.
Dude,
So
for some reason I thought you weren't gonna get my middle name. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, bro, when's the last time he's thought about what my middle name is?
that's light work.
Yeah.
That's light work.
You got all this. I honestly thought you were gonna choke on Cal Drogo's name too. I didn't think you'd be able to remember it.
Easy. Oh my gosh. Dang.
Shoot, that's a pretty good first podcast, I'd say.
Yeah, pretty good. I wonder how long that was.
Guess we'll find out here in a second when we hit stop recording.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm C. That's P. And I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will see you next week.
See you next time.